What's going on, folks? It's actually been a minute since I posted a video here, but well, I shot this video and I filmed about a quarter of the way through the project, and then I don't remember what came up, but I stopped filming. Project's done, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna roll into this video and let you see about a quarter of the way through the projects. Then I'll show through the project, excuse me, and then I'll go ahead and show you the finished project, some stills of the project, stuff like that, and we'll just make a video out of it. Try to get back on track with posting up some videos for this brand new year. So what we've done here is, long story short, this was back late November, early December, something like that. We've gone full blown into the leatherworking business. I've been making rifle slings and all kinds of stuff, and this was back in the very beginning. And my hunting buddy Chris Torres called me up and said he needed a holster for this pistol, so I figured I'm set up for it, just jump on it. So check it out. I'll let y'all roll into it, let y'all see what's going on, and then I'll get back to y'all and talk to y'all in a minute.
Whiskey drinking SOB. If you don't like that, then you won't like me. I'm an outlaw. I said I'm an outlaw.
Alright, what's going on, folks? Well, got a call today from a good buddy of mine, Chris, and he asked me about making him a cross draw holster for one of these Heritage 22 long rifle pistols. Right here around Thanksgiving, a bunch of companies were doing a BOGO deal on these Heritage. I picked up mine. I bought a Taurus G2C and I got this one for free. I believe Chris picked up a Rossi 22 semi-automatic rifle and got his. And anyways, we were hunting the other night talking about them, and he said something about he wanted to do a cross draw holster for his shoulder mount. So I just so happened to have this Tandy Bullseye holster package, and I happen to have the Heritage, so I figured I'd give it a try. Alright, I got my two templates here. I was going to put the holes down the sides on this one, but seeing how this is probably the one I'm going to put on the leather to actually do my cutout marks with, I kind of figured I'd just leave it as is, and then I'll use this one for my whole setup, and we'll just go from there. So that's those two guys, and then down the center I've got my fold line. We're going to fold it around the pistol and see how things work out. Alright, we got our pattern finished out, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but I got my cut lines out on my leather, and fixing to go to work on cutting this thing out. Well, that's the easy part of planning for a project done. We have our leather cut out. It wouldn't do what I wanted it to, so it looked kind of funky right there. But let me see if I can put the pistol in it and give you an idea. Alright, so that's kind of what we're looking at, except we're going to have that drawn down and that drawn down. But there we go. Alright, so a little bit of update here. So Chris told me that he wanted it double stitched, double saddle stitched. So I got my lines marked out all the way around, just setting up my spacing and stuff like that. You know, I got all these super handy dandy tools and stuff like that, and what am I down to for setting up spacing? A damn fork. It works, can't complain there, but it's just kind of slow. So I'm gonna get back at it. All right, so I got all my holes punched around the outside for stitching it up, and next I've gone over, this is the actual belt loop that's gonna go on the back of it, like right there somewhere. Don't know exactly where, I've gotta lay it out on the pattern, but that's the belt loop part, and I got me a piece of leather cut out for it, getting ready to cut the holes all up in it and mark it all up for that. I don't really know where I left off at on the video. This is the next day. But we've got the actual holster laid out, we got the stitch work laid out, we got our belt loop slash, I don't know what you want to call it, but there's going to be a tab that runs through there for the harness. And like I said, if I've already talked about this, well then I'll just edit it out. But on to my next step, I've got this little arrow looking piece with a hole in the top and two holes in the bottom. That's going to go through this belt loop tab, and you're going to get off of this corner, you're going to get your piece that goes up and across your shoulder, and then off of these two, you get the piece that's going to go all the way around and hold your body. So next piece is to go ahead and get that. We are pretty much all set up, ready to rock. We've got our piece that's going to stitch on back here. This piece here is going to slide through. We're going to have one point here, which will come up and go over the left shoulder. And then we're going to have 2 points here, which will go off of this end, up and around your right side at your rib cage, and this one will come around at your left side at your rib cage. They'll meet up to this in the back, which will have a hole here and a hole here. This one will be the one that goes up over your left shoulder. This one will go around the rib cage, and this one it'll have another hole over here, and this one will go around the rib cage. So if everything works out, that's pretty much the idea. Now it's just down to getting some strap material, cutting down the strap, making the ends look pretty, putting a hole somewhere up here for a snap, putting a safety strap over the top of it to hold the revolver into this holster. And then from there, like I said, it's just working on the straps, around the ends, punching the holes, etc. So I guess that's going to be the next step. All right, so I decided that just this plain old holster just wasn't going to cut it. It needed some design work done to it. So first step of my design work is I'm going to go ahead and I've laid me out a piece here on my template. We got our outside guidelines, and then we've got our lines that we're going to scribe in. And I'm not going to get real intricate with it, just trying to give it a little bit of character versus just a plain old leather holster. So I've got my leather cased up, just waiting for it to do its thing here, and I'm going to start scribing in some lines. Here we go. We got all our lines set out. This is just all I've done here is because the leather was cased, I was able to leave a nice little line on it, just using this little ball stylus right here, just tracing over my trace lines. I basically just took my tracing paper, taped it down. The leather is taped down so it won't move side to side, so on and so forth. And then just ran my lines. Now from here, I'm going to use my swivel knife to cut these in. I'll bevel them back on this side, basically, making this piece raised and this piece raised. And then I've got a large matting tool that I'm just going to run around all the outside edges and all that stuff, just to give it some character, basically, get away from being just a blank old holster. All right, so we're getting pretty close to done. I got my bevel and my texture done, got my design on the front, got our piece for our strap set up, ready to go. Made our safety strap to go over the top with our snap in it. Got our piece to go in the back, down to doing the straps and the buckles, and that's pretty much it. I think I'm getting ready to go ahead and send this guy out and get some dye work done and start lacing it all up, because I'm going to go ahead and finish this part first, and then I'll start worrying about doing the straps. Here's our finished product. This holster turned out extremely awesome, especially with the consideration that this was one of my first, we won't say first, it's probably like my second or third major project. Not a lot that I would do to change it up if I was to redo it over again, since I've been doing this for probably about 2-3 months now, but it did turn out really cool. It's a cross draw holster, so meaning that it sits on your chest kind of sideways, where you can reach over and grab it with your right hand. Here in a few seconds I'll throw some stills in with me wearing it, that way you can get a look at what it looks like. But as you can see, it kind of turned out pretty damn neat. Stitch work was one of the very first times I did a double line stitch like that. Also one of the first times I used a white stitch versus waxed synthetic. Everything's done in veg tan. My straps, I kind of cheated on my straps a bit. Again, this being the very first beginning of doing this stuff, I went to Tandy Leather Company and just bought straps, brought them home, chiseled them, stitched them, put the Chicago screws in them, and just ran it. It poked the holes in it for the sizing. Basic sizing on it is it just hooks up with a pair of Chicago screws, and you've got adjustment to adjust it all up. that's pretty much it, man. I mean, it came out really awesome. If we flip it over right here, the way that this is set up, this is all of these straps at this piece are held on with a snap. You can unsnap them, slide this piece out, and then you can actually mount the holster on your belt, or you can slide this back in and wear it as a cross draw. So project had a little bit of thought involved in it there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and post up those stills now, and then I'm gonna shoot a little bit of an outro for this video. Hopefully, I was able to get those stills to post. One way or another, I'll make them post. But they should have been there. Like I said, this was maybe the second or third major project. And we're full blown into business now. I'm making some slings now. Here's an example of one of the ones I'm making. This actually belongs on here, but I took it off for doing some measurement stuff. But it's a rifle sling with a antique Texas flag on it. This one I'm calling it the Texas Independence. It's got the 1836 stamped on the bottom. Got a few others that I've done up and designed. I did a sling for a 44 Magnum I've got, and it's got 10, I believe, 44 Magnum cartridge loops on it, bunch of tri-weave, stuff like that. Here's another one that I made for my 17 HMR. It's still in the works of being made, but you can see it's got the OutlawTV. It's got a pig carved in it. It's actually going to be another two-piece like this with this large D-ring in it. The D-ring was put into these slings for, let me set all this crap down. The D-rings were put into these slings so when you've got the rifle over your shoulder and you're standing around, you've got somewhere to put your thumb, and kind of gives you somewhere to put kind of a thumb hole type sling of a different design. But that's just two slings right there that I've done up. Like I said, that 44 Magnum sling, you know, various other stuff like that. I recently bought a couple of new guns, and I'm going to be doing some buttstock work on one of them. One of them, the lever guns, so I'll be doing a no-drill buttstock as well as a no-drill sling. I'll be doing a leather wrap, stuff like that. So let me go ahead and end up this video, and you know, we'll go from there. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. I know this isn't my typical fishing and stuff like that, but I'm going to throw some leather work and stuff in there here and there, and hopefully get back to fishing. Right now we're getting ready to be first weekend of February. Fish, from what I heard down here in South Texas, are already starting to set up and pair up and try to work on beds and stuff like that. So hopefully we can get on some stuff in the spawn. Got some bass boat trips planned, stuff like that. So you know, keep an eye on the channel. I'm going to try to go back to a weekly posting. And thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all later.